At JFK International Airport, Captain Sarah Williams stood in her crisp pilot's uniform, greeting passengers with a warm smile as they prepared to board Flight 2317 to Los Angeles. With over a decade of experience and countless successful flights under her belt, she was the picture of professionalism. But on this ordinary Tuesday morning, one passenger was about to turn the routine boarding process into a defining moment that would shake the aviation community and spark a national conversation about prejudice in America. A black woman flying the plane? Is this some kind of joke? The words cut through the terminal's usual buzz, sharp and deliberate. The speaker, a middle-aged woman in an expensive business suit, didn't bother to lower her voice. Her face contorted with disgust as she stared at Captain Williams, making no attempt to hide her prejudice. The bustling gate area at Terminal 4 fell silent. Passengers froze mid-conversation, coffee cups halted halfway to lips, phones lowered as dozens of eyes darted between the pilot and the increasingly agitated woman. The tension in the air was electric, thick enough to slice with a knife. Captain Williams had encountered prejudice before. It came with being one of the few black female pilots in commercial aviation. But what unfolded next would prove that sometimes the most powerful response to hatred isn't a raised voice or angry words, but unwavering dignity in the face of ignorance. From real-life stories new, this is the story of how one woman's grace under pressure transformed an ugly display of racism into a powerful testament to professionalism, resilience, and the changing face of American aviation. What happened next would not only go viral, but would spark a nationwide conversation about racism, respect, and the power of standing firm in the face of discrimination. The woman, who would soon become known across social media as Airport Karen, marched up to the gate counter, her designer heels clicking against the terminal floor. "I demand to speak to someone in charge," she declared, loud enough for the entire gate to hear. "There must be some mistake. I paid good money for this flight, and I refuse to put my life in her hands." The gate agent, Michael Chen, maintained his professional composure. "Ma'am, Captain Williams is one of our most experienced pilots, with an impeccable safety record and over 15,000 flight hours. I can assure you." "I don't care about her so-called experience," Karen interrupted, her voice rising. "Look at her. She doesn't fit the profile. How do we know she's qualified? I want a real pilot." The terminal fell even quieter, if that was possible. Passengers exchanged uncomfortable glances, some pulling out their phones to record the unfolding scene. Captain Williams continued her pre-flight checks, her movements deliberate and focused, though she could hear every word. A businessman in his 50s stood up from his seat near the gate. "Excuse me," he said, addressing Karen directly. "I've flown with Captain Williams 3 times. Every landing was smoother than silk. Your concern isn't about qualifications, it's about prejudice." Karen spun around, face flushed. "This isn't about prejudice. This is about safety. I have rights as a passenger." "Yes, you do," a young mother with 2 children spoke up. "You have the right to book another flight, but you don't have the right to disrespect a professional who's earned her position." Several other passengers nodded in agreement, but Karen wasn't backing down. She pulled out her phone, fingers trembling with anger. "I'm calling your corporate office right now. This is unacceptable. I'll have all of your jobs." The situation reached a turning point when Captain Williams finally approached the gate. Her voice was steady, her demeanor unshakable. "Ma'am, I understand you have concerns about your safety. That's something I take very seriously. I've been flying commercially for 12 years, and the safety of my passengers is my absolute priority. However, if you're uncomfortable, our gate agents can help you arrange alternative travel plans." The professional calm in Williams's voice seemed to throw Karen off balance. She hadn't expected such composure in the face of her attacks. But rather than calming her, it only fueled her anger. "Don't patronize me. I know what you're trying to do. This is reverse discrimination." By now, airport security had arrived, alerted by the gate staff. 2 officers positioned themselves nearby, watching the situation carefully. The supervising gate manager, David Torres, stepped forward. "Ma'am, you have 2 options. You can board the flight respectfully, or you can leave the gate area. If you choose neither, these officers will escort you out." Karen looked around wildly, seemingly expecting support from other passengers. Instead, she found dozens of disapproving faces. Some were openly recording her behavior on their phones. A group of college students in the back were already typing on their phones, no doubt sharing the incident on social media. "This is ridiculous." Karen's voice cracked with frustration. "You're all going to regret this. My husband is a lawyer, and when he hears about this..." "Ma'am," one of the security officers cut in, "we need your decision now. The flight needs to maintain its schedule." In that moment, something in Karen seemed to snap. She grabbed her designer bag and pointed a manicured finger at Captain Williams. "This isn't over. When something happens on this flight, it'll be on all of you." As security began to approach, Karen finally backed down, storming away from the gate. The terminal erupted in applause, but Captain Williams quickly raised her hands. "Thank you all, but we have a flight to catch. Please proceed with boarding." As passengers filed onto the plane, many stopped to express their support. "Thank you for handling that with such grace," an elderly woman squeezed Williams' hand as she passed. A teenage girl whispered, "You're my hero." But it wasn't over. Within hours, videos of the incident hit social media. Captain Williams and Karen's in the wild started trending. News outlets picked up the story, turning a moment of ugly prejudice into a national conversation about racism in professional spaces. The airline released a statement standing firmly behind Captain Williams, condemning discrimination and highlighting their commitment to diversity in aviation. Support poured in from across the country, with other female pilots and women of color in male-dominated fields sharing their own stories of facing similar discrimination. Back in the cockpit, preparing for takeoff, Captain Williams remained focused on her job. Her first officer asked if she was okay. She smiled, adjusting her headset. "I'm right where I belong," she said, beginning her pre-flight checks. "Now let's get these people to Los Angeles." As the plane touched down smoothly in Los Angeles, Captain Williams' story was already spreading across the nation. Her composed response to discrimination became more than just a viral moment. It sparked meaningful conversations about respect, professionalism, and breaking barriers in aviation. In the weeks that followed, thousands of messages poured in from aspiring pilots, particularly young women of color who saw their own dreams reflected in Captain Williams' resilience. "Your strength gave me courage," wrote one teenage girl. "Now I know I can pursue my dreams of flying, no matter what obstacles I face." The incident proved that sometimes the most powerful response to prejudice isn't confrontation, but unwavering dignity. Captain Williams didn't just maintain her composure, she demonstrated that excellence is the best answer to ignorance. Today, she continues to fly the skies, inspiring a new generation of pilots who now know that the cockpit belongs to anyone with the skill, dedication, and courage to claim it. If this story moved you, help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to Real Life Stories New for more powerful stories that remind us how everyday moments can create extraordinary change. Leave a comment below sharing a time when you stood strong in the face of adversity. Your story might inspire others to do the same.